Look at her, she's spitting nerdy. Look at her, she's spitting nerdy. Can't you see she's spitting nerdy? Look at her, she's spitting nerdy.
Hello everyone, good morning. Actually, it's not morning at all, but maybe you're watching this video in the morning because I never upload in the mornings. It's probably not morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Today marks day 2 of week 3 of increasing my calories every week for this little reverse diet / clean bulk that I'm doing. And let me tell you, this is so much more of a struggle than I thought it was gonna be. I've always thought of myself as someone who can eat a lot. Like, a lot of the times I eat intuitively, and I know that when I'm going through a period of eating intuitively, there are days where I do eat a lot. Like, I think I could feasibly eat 10,000 calories in a day if I wanted to, but constantly eating in a surplus, day in and day out for weeks on end, didn't realize that was gonna be so hard. But thankfully, I figured out some tips and tricks to help me eat more in a healthy way, because as I've said before, I don't want this reverse diet to be an excuse to just eat junk to hit my calorie goals. And so I've been trying to figure out ways to help my digestion, help my body just be more readily able to absorb all of the food that I'm giving it so that it can utilize it and help me build the most amount of muscle possible, grow that booty, get some defined abs, and it's all good. So I just wanted to take you along with me today and talk you through some of my top tips to help you build muscle while staying lean and not experiencing all of the massive digestive bloating and uncomfortableness that can accompany eating in surplus that I definitely experienced for the first week and a half. I have also gotten a ton of questions about how to reverse diet without tracking calories, because I know that is a big trigger for a lot of people as far as your relationship with food is concerned, and counting calories might not be something that is feasible for you. So I'm gonna talk about that later. So do make sure you stick around to the end of the video if you want all of my great tips and tricks as well as discussion about these various topics. And if you are excited, please give this video a big thumbs up because it really does support me and my channel and I really appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button while you're at it so that you can see future videos about this topic, because we're gonna be talking about it for the next few weeks. And with that being said, trick number 1 to consuming more calories is to add in probiotics. I'm drinking a little kombucha right now. Now, I don't do this every day, but I am trying to do it more regularly. When I consume probiotics first, I find that it really just helps my digestion the rest of the day. It's like the little good gut bacteria get into my gut and they go around digesting all the food for me, and it helps. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel a lot less bloated and a lot less stuffed by the end of the day. But some of you are probably wondering, Marissa, you bought kombucha at the store. I thought you were making your own kombucha. Well, let me tell you about this little disaster that happened a few days ago. My kombucha, it exploded. I apparently did not have carbonation safe bottles, and so the other night my roommates heard what sounded like a homemade bomb going off in the house. Turns out it was the kombucha exploding. It literally, I don't know how well you can see this. It literally left scrapes, shrapnel went through the entire cabinet. I came home to find all of my kombucha everywhere. The entire inside of the cabinet is it looks like a bomb went off. There was kombucha on this wall. And my second fermentation was right next to my first fermentation, and a bunch of shards of glass ended up on top of the cheesecloth on my first fermentation, so I figured I should probably just throw that away in case any little glass particles got into it. I don't want to be drinking that. So I'm now on a hunt for a new SCOBY and some better bottles. So in the meantime, going back to store-bought kombucha. I did just get back from my workout, so I'm having my little post-workout latte. And actually, I didn't put any adaptogens in it today. What's happening to my life? I did have rhodiola and cordyceps before my workout though, so that's probably enough adaptogens, at least for the first half of the day. By far, my favorite part of this process has been the workouts. Every single workout that I've had, I've been able to improve in, I think over half the lifts. I can either add a rep or an extra set or add some weight, and it's been phenomenal. Today's workout was mostly an upper body day, and I am so close to being able to bench press my body weight. I was nowhere near where I am now just a few weeks ago. The strength gains have been absolutely insane. It's just so much fun to go to the gym knowing that I'm gonna feel better, I'm gonna feel stronger, and I'm gonna be making progress, and it's so much fun. But anyway, what I wanted to tell you is that my little post-workout latte is one of my pro tips, and that is to drink your calories. And this is a really bad tip for anyone who's trying to lose weight or maintain weight, but if you're struggling to get enough calories, liquid is so much easier to digest than like regular food. Since it's winter and it's quite cold, most of my extra liquid calories have come through warm adaptogenic lattes, but I also really like to incorporate smoothies. They're one of the best ways to get in a ton of extra healthy calories that are just easier to digest, easier to process. They don't make you feel as bloated because it's like half digested for you already, and you can cram in a ton of nutrients. And I just want to clarify that this tip is not suggesting you go get your calories from like soda or unhealthy beverages that are full of calories. I just mean that it's easier to consume healthy calories when they're in liquid form. And I think that this is actually a really good strategy for people who are trying to eat intuitively and still stay in a surplus to reverse diet without tracking calories, because it can be really difficult to override your body's tendency to want to keep itself at maintenance. That is the biggest drawback of trying to do this reverse diet process or a clean bulk without tracking your calories, because your body's desire to stay in homeostasis is so strong. If you eat extra calories one day, it will downregulate your hunger the next day, and so it's really hard to tell if your average is still in a surplus, even if you feel like you're overly full by a little bit every single day. So in theory, adding in some liquid calories might be a good way to override this, because your body won't have to secrete as many digestive juices to break it down, and so maybe your body won't realize that it's eating as much as it is. This is a theory that I have not looked into at all because I just thought about it, and it's probably not super accurate, but it could work for like a couple weeks. I don't know. My mom came to visit me and bought me multiple boxes of the Birchbenders Paleo waffles, so my addiction to these has been rekindled. So for meal number one, I'm just having 2 scrambled eggs and 3 toaster waffles. I've been cutting back a ton on the number of eggs that I've been eating lately. Usually it is a staple breakfast for me, because I find that when I eat a higher fat, lower carb diet, I'm much more full, I'm much more satiated, and I'm able to not like binge on all the carbs. But feeling super full and satiated after like 400 calories is really not ideal when I'm trying to fit in a ton more calories. So one of my strategies has been to make my breakfast a lot more carb heavy. So I've been having a lot of oatmeal lately, and I'll add just some like nuts and seeds in there to add a little bit more protein. So what I recommend if you're trying to reverse diet and having trouble eating enough is just find the macro ratio that works best for you, that allows you to eat the most. For me, it has been drastically increasing my carbs and decreasing my fats. Before I started this, I was eating probably 100 to 150 grams of carbs per day, and my fat was usually over 100. I have drastically dropped my fat. I think I'm limiting myself this week to like 75 grams of fat, and I'm eating 250 grams of carbs. That's so many carbs. Don't get me wrong, I still absolutely love eating a slightly higher fat diet. I think it does help me feel the best, but I just cannot physically get in enough calories when I eat more fat than that. But that being said, you might be the opposite. You might find that eating more fat and restricting your carbs helps you eat a lot more, because fat makes you less satiated. There is a slight advantage in muscle building to having a higher carb diet, but overall, like, hitting the number of calories that you need to hit and not being in a deficit is a lot more important than your macro distribution. Although making sure you get enough protein is pretty darn important as well. These are so ridiculously good. It is not even funny. Something that I like to do after a meal to help my body digest is go on a quick little walk. It also helps me stay active and get my steps in. So I'm gonna go do that, get some work done as I'm stepping around the neighborhood, visiting the neighborhood cats. Yes, I'm putting a sweatshirt on over a sweatshirt, don't judge me. And then it will be time for some sweet potato fries. Carbs on carbs with a little bit of fat. I added some cashew cheese just because I need like an extra 100 calories for the day. I've legit been eating like 2/3 of a sweet potato a day just to be able to get my carbs in. Do I regret it? No. I love sweet potato. This is great. It is dinner time. I'm about to make some lentil pasta. I got these off of Thrive Market last time I did a Thrive order. And I have to say, there's not, I don't think, as much protein as the Banza pasta, but the ingredients are cleaner. There's no gums or anything in these, so I am a huge fan. So I'm gonna use one of these. I think I'll do, there's a red lentil. No, okay, we're doing this one. Red lentil, tomato, and red bell pepper. I'm just gonna heat up some sauce, chop up some veggies and whatnot, and then I have some bison flank steak that I cooked up last night from My Meat Box. All in all, this is gonna be about a 700 to 800 calorie dinner, which is actually a little bit lower than it has been lately, but today I am trying to eat an extra 100 calories because I underate by 100 calories yesterday. And so I haven't been doing this every single time, but my next tip to help you with your digestion is to take a digestive enzyme like a half an hour or so before your meal. I really don't want to have to rely on these to be able to digest my food, so I've only done this a couple times, but if it's a day where I know I've either eaten a lot more than normal because I underate for a few days, or I just feel particularly full, or I'm just having more trouble digesting, I will take one of these. Not gonna say that I know for a fact it's been particularly helpful, but if it does help at all, then you know, it's worth trying. So I'm just gonna pop one of these in my mouth and then make dinner. I don't think I will ever get tired of having pasta for dinner, especially in the winter. It has somehow gotten quite late. It is basically my bedtime, but I just wanted to touch on a few last things before I go off to bed. First, I want to talk about what I was saying before about how yesterday I underate by 100 calories and today I'm making up for that. I do think calorie undulation can be a fantastic strategy when you're trying to hit a higher calorie goal than average, because on the days where you just don't feel like you can eat, you can allow yourself to not eat as much. Feeling like you have to cram food down your throat every single day, especially on days where you really don't feel like it, is not a good feeling. So letting yourself be a little bit lower on some days, a little bit higher on other days is totally fine. And it's something that I have been using to help me hit my weekly average goal. The beginning of my week is a lot heavier workout, so I tend to try to put most of my calories toward the beginning of the week, and then later in the week when I have a few lighter workouts and my rest day, I'll eat a little bit less, and it kind of evens out. And then my final tip to help your digestion and help you stay more lean and not super bloated as you try to eat more and increase your calories is to end certain days with drinks that help you digest things. I have my little ginger lemon honey tea that I talked about a few videos ago. I'll link it down below so you can check out the actual recipe. But I find if I have a day where I do eat on the higher side of my calories, having this at the end of the day really helps my digestion. When I wake up, I feel a lot less like full and like I stuffed my face full of food the previous day. Also love to have a cup of mint tea before I go to bed to help with my digestion. So anything that you find it kind of helps your body digest food is good to end your day with. And then speaking of the end of the day, for my intuitive eating friends, now is the time to throw in an extra 50 to 100 calories after you've eaten the amount that you would normally eat when you eat intuitively to maintain, and you gotta throw a little bit on top of it. One of the absolute easiest ways to do this is just to add like a tablespoon of fat. So a tablespoon of cashew butter, probably my personal preference, a tablespoon of avocado if you wanted to add a little bit of coconut oil to some tea at the end of the night. And as long as you make sure that when you're eating throughout the day, you eat as much as you normally would before you start this process. So I do recommend kind of looking at what you're eating before you start this process. Pay attention, don't like track calories, but just kind of track in your mind how much you're eating so that you can make sure you're still eating that as you go through this process and then as you continue to add calories. You don't want your body to start down-regulating your hunger signals as you add more calories on top and then end up eating less throughout the day and end up not in a calorie surplus. And with that, I think I'm going to end the video here because it is time for me to go. Oh, my hair ended up in my tea. Now it's wet. That's pleasant. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this video and got something out of it. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up because it really does support me and my channel and I really appreciate it. Please share this video with your friends and your family and your fitness buddies. Subscribe for more videos. Hit the notification button so you don't miss those videos, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.